44 for 4, and Walid is in my ear. He's saying, let the rain come. That is going to be our saving grace for today. South Africa at the crease, of course. 44 for 4 wickets as we welcome Peter Setou. Welcome him back. Welcome back, Peter. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
You are one of the clearest voices on this issue in the whole wide world, and we know that because we've spoken to you about it again, or we've spoken to you about it in the past. And recently we read about some really sad stories playing out, especially in the Northwest Province. Huge tracts of land handed over to communities, and communities being exploited by their very own leaders and not being able to necessarily perpetuate the productive and profitable land use of the past. It is just so sad to continue to read such stories. And you say there's a simple solution, Peter.
Yeah, yes, thank you. It saddens me to actually see our communities going through this kind of challenges. But the reality is that whilst land reform has got immense potential to really stimulate rural economic development and really contribute meaningfully to food security and create employment opportunities. And also, it's meant to really provide a pathway out of poverty for land reform beneficiaries. Our experience has shown time and again that it's only those CPAs that manage their affairs in a diligent manner who have got a better chance of actually staying stable in the first place and attracting much-needed commercial partners and retaining existing commercial arrangements between themselves and their investors. There is just no way of actually doing this. There is no shortcut. It is important as a country and as South Africans to really reflect on this. I mean, one of the downsides for me in the approach to land reform has been sort of the disproportionate emphasis on land redistribution, or rather ensuring that people have got the land without sufficient attention really given to vital aspects of post-settlement support, which is a crucial element of comprehensive land reform. And yet it has not received the necessary engagement and resources that it deserves, specifically around what happens once people get the land. Do they have the requisite skills? Are they supported so that they can run their business affairs in a sustainable manner?
Yeah. So how is it? I mean, really, I think my frustration at this moment in time is the fact that the leaders within that community are letting the community down. How do we build those checks and balances for that not to happen?
Well, I think it should start right from the beginning, at a point when the land is to be transferred. Simultaneously, at a point when the land is to be transferred, an assessment. A needs assessment needs to be conducted to say what is it that the communities, for example, need in order to be able to run their affairs in a proper manner. Do they understand the Constitution? Do they have the Constitution in place, for example? Do they have policies around property management? Do they have policies in place around financial management? Do they have policies in place around membership management, governance, and administration management in general? And as I'm arguing that if you transfer the land and give people all these assets without ensuring that you've got these checks and balances in place, then you've got a recipe for disaster. And so at times it really tantamounts to really setting these very poor people for failure, because giving them the land without providing them with the requisite capacity to actually run it sustainably and efficiently, I think it's really setting them up for failure.
Yeah, which means that we're going to read about more such failure in the future then.
Well, I think unless as a country and government and other role players, unless we really start collaborating more closely and support initiatives such as what we are doing as Vumelana to try and really intervene at that point. I mean, if you look at the projects that we've supported as an organization, they're testimony to the fact that if communities are properly supported, they can actually run their land sustainably. So it's not as if we don't have working models. We do have working models. All that we need to do is to really upscale this. I mean, recently, I've read a report produced by the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform, on CPA governance. If you read that report, I mean, there's just around 1,700 registered communal property associations. If you look at those CPAs, a great number of them are actually non-compliant with the CPA Act,
right,
which is really lamentable,
Yeah.
And I think we need to do something about that. We need to make sure that there are we at least strengthen good governance practices amongst these CPAs. CPAs are here to stay. You cannot wish them away. I mean, the fact that you already have 1,700 of them who are actually in control of sizable land parcels, it means you can't just allow that situation to fester. You need to intervene. And if you look at some of these land parcels, you're actually looking at high value assets,
Absolutely.
which are employing lots and lots of people.
And they need to be productively worked. Now, we don't have time, unfortunately, but yeah, our role is to amplify this clear voice that you bring to this challenge. Where can we find out more about your organization? Do you have a web presence so that we can all read up and get onto the same page with Vumelana Advisory Fund?
Now, people can visit our website at www.vumelana.org.za. Alternatively, they can drop us an email at info@vumelana.org.za.
We're going to have to rest it there, unfortunately. Peter Setou, Vumelana, VUMELANA.org.za. And I said there, clear voice. Go and check it out for yourself. But that's where I've got to wrap it for today. It's Friday tomorrow. From 9 to 12, it is Views and News on Cape Talk.
Hi there. If you recognize my voice, you'll know this is a 30-second